Chowza! Hey, how do we lay down the groundwork for a global farm? How do we lay down the groundwork for a global farm? Stay till the end to find out. Yeah, welcome to the news. So, one of our missions starting now, going forward, is to be able to try to start to develop applications, mobile apps every single day, every single podcast episode from now on. We're trying to translate that into a mobile application, in essence, to be able to have, by the end of the episode, something to be able to reflect in the form of a mobile app through Bitrig, the application, which is also able to help develop other applications. In essence, we're going to try to develop a corresponding application, and although we have kind of a small audience today, we still are going to try to release that onto the mobile app store within the application store within Apple App Store. Yeah, anyway, we'll keep you posted on that notion, because that is corresponding to what the greater purpose of today's podcast is ultimately as well, which is trying to develop a farm out of the whole entire world. Yeah. And another sort of side that tidbit conceptualization is a quick brought to you by the corresponding collaboration between philanthropy and animal shelters, philanthropic organizations, meaning charitable organizations, in essence, combined with animal shelter organizations, in essence, to be able to continue to be able to keep up with the consistent turnover of animal shelters that are always constantly turning over different animals on the day-to-day basis, and ultimately many of them are put down because there's too many and too much of a flow and too much of an overflow to be able to correspond to how to be able to try to conceptualize how to develop a better process and a better format for the animal shelters to be able to have no animals to be able to put down, to be able to clear the animal shelters every single day. And one of the ways is to be able to do more animal content for animals within the actual shelters, to be able to develop media presence and media shows and media development and make little studios for media content to be able to be developed within the animal shelters, for example, and having more corresponding interesting interactions within the animal shelters and making media networks within the animal shelters and the people within the animal shelters and the corresponding different characters and characterizations, and developing different formats and different spaces and places for them to go to be able to correspond and connect the ability to develop a communication between charitable organizations and philanthropies, and connect that directly and connect and pipeline those directly with animal shelters, so that there's also a collaboration between animal shelters and philanthropies and philanthropic organizations. And there's also collaborations between philanthropic organizations and other philanthropic organizations as well, to be able to continue to breed new ground for new thought, for new grounds, to be able to continue to be able to grow new energy in the world, and develop a new farm, and develop a new sort of a farm out of the world, developing a farm out of the whole entire world. Yeah. So another corresponding concept to this is the idea and the notion that we are able to use people's energy to be able to develop this new farm framework by developing a commune, basically developing a commune around the whole world. So in essence, that is some way to be able to connect the energy between one country to another, between one person to another, so that in essence we develop the nature of combining the interest of having a farm in the world, a farm in every single square foot of land that is usable by every single human being in the world, to be able to be reachable by every single human being in the world. Every piece of square foot of land, in essence, is corresponding to a global farm. And in essence, we're able to correspond that with the essence of a commune, a global commune, in essence. So we can all start to be able to plant different little seed bombs and make our own little farms everywhere in the whole world. So that in essence, everybody has the same mindset. Everybody can get on the same wavelength. Everybody can correspond to the same process and purpose of being able to develop asset energy all around the world by being able to plant different plants and being able to become farmers, being able to become obsessed with the interest of growth. In essence, the fundamental nature of asset energy, to develop food that is ripe for the whole entire world, to be able to pick for everybody in the world, to be able to connect with the ability to connect everybody in the world with a global farm that is more holistic, more conceptualizing for the internal structure and the health and well-being of every single human on the planet, and being able to reduce methane gas at the same time, being conscious of how to run the farm as a community, as a global commune, in essence, so that every single human in the world is able to benefit from this process, and in essence be able to bring down methane gas, for example, and be able to bring up biology in the food department, so that in essence we have healthier food that's less contrived, less influenced by the process of a global food chain structure that has to do with a very comprehensible process that in essence is not fluid, it's not functional, it's not super effective and efficient in essence. And there's also multiple angles to be able to try to improve this farm at the same time. We have the ability to be able to treat animals better, and also have the ability to just remove the process for animals in this process by developing biological food, in essence, and getting everybody on the same page that climate change is an actual thing. And because of this process of like over 50 billion cattle that are in essence put away every single year, and the place and then the necessity to be able to move and make different space in the world for farmland is causing disruption in the ozone layer to be able to make the world's atmosphere more warm than necessary to be able to ultimately, due to the eventual nature of the declination of the ozone layer of planet Earth. So in essence, by being more conscious of a global commune, of every single country in the world, of how to optimize our processes, of how to every single person in the world become global citizens, so every single person realizes that we are already a global commune, that ultimately we are one world country, that everybody's able to continue to optimize the process, and we all continue to combat global climate change and be able to continue to optimize more so viable, optimal options that are more so conducive to a global future that corresponds to betterment in the next 20, 30, 50 years down the line, 50, 100, 200 years down the line. That also corresponds to trying to have everybody that's living live longer, in essence, at the same time by optimizing these processes, optimizing our energy, and connecting how to work together. There is an essence, an ability also conceptualizing against what Musk had said earlier today in a video, where he said that a 100 by 100 mile radius is able to capture enough sunlight energy to be able to power all of the United States. Just for example, in just that amount of solar panels within a 100 mile by 100 mile radius, for example, and then powered by different batteries that also they specialize in making. Tesla, for example, is able to develop the batteries that also can easily power all of the United States with a 100 mile by 100 mile radius of solar panels, to be able to then also cleanse the purpose of the process of trying to also reduce the impacts of global warming, which is obviously a global issue. So if everybody is able to conceptualize that everybody is part of a global commune, that we're able to conceptualize how to plant seeds in every single corner of the earth, so that in essence food can become more ripe for everybody in the world to be able to eat from every single day by working together and lessening the focus on commerce, lessening the fake monopoly money game of monopoly, playing for money all the time, as opposed to focusing on philanthropy energy, focusing on people, human energy, to be able to optimize our farm, which is called the world. It's called planet Earth. Every single person in the world is part of the farm, and we have all sorts of systems in place that are segregated and separate from different people and different flows and different structures and different pipelines of processes that are in essence functional, when they are cumulative and unified to connect all human beings to the global philanthropy energy grid. For example, and another little life hack of today is to be able to try to develop more so asset energy in the planet by making every single person that you ever have interactions with a mentor. Basically make them mentors by being able to ping and refine your asset energy, being able to understand the asset energy of where you want to go with your life in essence, and be able to make an entrepreneurship process out of your life by being able to find what the asset energy is in from reflecting and deflecting off of other people, and not accepting certain energy and accepting other energy, in essence, that corresponds to developing your own energy and adding more value to your asset energy to be able to continue to be like an asset mindset and developing an investing mindset by having that yes, no mentality to every single interaction, every single word, and by following the energy across every single interaction, across every single minute, every single day, every single hour, and being able to track that process of that frequency, being able to try to optimize your own frequency in the short and long-term sense. And then therefore, when opportunity is knocking, you know, and you're prepared and you're ready to be able to open the door, which other people sometimes don't even realize that the door is knocking. But then you're also prepared by having that refining mindset to be able to refine your mindset, so that when the process and the door of entrepreneurship or other opportunities are available in terms of sales or otherwise, that you're able to know that it's knocking to begin with, because you're able to recognize the knock, and you're also able to open the door at the same time by recognizing all of the elements have aligned that you've been following for, listening to, and learning about up to that time when the door is knocked on. And then in essence, you're able to fluidly and confidently open the door to be able to welcome that presence of the option and opportunity behind it, in essence, to be able to go through and be able to make transgression and transcendence in your own world and life and frequency, in essence. And that's what we want for every single human being in the world, because it is just down to the weakest link in the chain that corresponds to how the world can progress, in essence, because it's a manufacturing process of global fluid philanthropy uprising energy. And when we all realize that we're all members of the commune and all members of the farm and all members of the global farm, family farm process that in essence corresponds to every single human being, that connects every single human being in the world, that the weakest link in the chain is something that needs extra attention, because that needs extra attention to be able to be held up upon and be given more attention to and be given more extra facilities to be able to try to give and offer more functionality to different folks with different focuses. For example, and also there's a little side note from like Tesla, for example, that it's possible to be able to try to assist different people through Neuralink in the longer term future that correspond to having people combined with humanoid robots, so they can in essence correspond certain aspects through their brain, through the Neuralink process, to be able to connect with humanoid robots, to be able to also be able to like run faster, for example, if they're needed assistance with their legs, to be able to run faster than the regular human being speed can be, because they're able to connect with these technological processes, in essence, giving them extra powers, in essence, to be able to actually connect with the essence of technology firsthand in this fashion. So we're actually able to connect directly into technology, pipelining ourselves into technology in the short and or longer term sense, so that in essence, we are able to engineer this global farm. We're able to engineer the process for every single country in the world, every single square foot of the earth, to be able to be utilized in a proper, functional, useful, cumulative sense. So all the responsibilities and all the resources in all of the world are able to be shared collectively by it being able to be conscious to begin with, and in the first place, to be able to revolutionize our mindsets, to be able to open up the global commune. Welcome to the global commune. That is, in essence, the nature of answering the question to begin with this episode of the podcast of how do we make this global farm? How do we make this global farm? And it is by making a global commune and welcoming everybody to all of the responsibilities and all of the resources in the whole entire world. Because collectively and connectively, conceptually, we all are connected to all of those resources and processes as of right now. We're all connected to that through energy, through frequency, also known as the global philanthropy energy grid. And once we commoditize and once we develop the ability to open up these floodgates of resources and understandings from one person to another, and one space to another, one country to another, one element to another, to be able to connect all of us and unify all of our energy and frequency fundamentally to every square foot of the planet Earth's land, to be able to develop and start to grow and fundamentally flow with the land, to be able to get into the roots, to be able to grow a new world from the ground up and start to farm the new world, to be able to plant seeds in every single square foot of the world, plant seeds in every single square foot of the world. That is how we're able to make the global commune. That is how we're able to make the global farm, by everybody going out and starting to plant seeds in every single square foot of the whole entire world, because that is something that should be obligated by our world government to be able to bring new flowers, bring new growth, bring the ability to be able to develop new growth by developing a global farm, so that food is growing on every single corner of every single part of every single world, by optimizing the abundant energy that is within the sun, that has already been proclaimed by one of the most unique people in the world, Elon Musk, that sun energy is abundant in essence, so that therefore is corresponding to the ability to be able to functionally and fundamentally add value to the global farm and be able to develop growth somehow through manipulation and seed planting in every corner of the global world, by also developing a commune and a commune mindset, so everybody shares the responsibility and resources of the whole entire planet, and we're able to tap into each other as a one unified system of collective brain power energy, corresponding to our global farm, corresponding to our global commune, which today, hopefully, we're able to start to develop mobile applications for the Apple App Store, starting today, in essence, by being able to tap into this global commune. And they are global applications for mobile applications for our global commune. Mobile applications for our global commune that we're trying to tap into the roots for, starting now, in essence. Thanks again. Bye, Ding Tech. Bye, peace. Bye. Ding Tech, change for Games Studios. Ding Tech, change for games. Bye, peace. Bye.